Kia ora, ngā mai ki te whare. Welcome to the House, ko Lui Kolonzaho. It's not unusual for Parliament during the first sitting day back from a recess to feature a request for an urgent debate or a ministerial statement. That's because the world doesn't pause just because Parliament does. When MPs return, they're often playing catch-up. Even if an issue has been already widely canvassed, if it's significant enough, it still tends to be addressed in the House. Ministerial statements are a way for the government to brief Parliament, and by extension you, on unfolding events and to outline how it plans to respond to those events. Today's statement focused on the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, specifically the government's recent decision not to recognise a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in New York last week.
We confirmed in New York 10 days ago what we have said repeatedly at the United Nations as elsewhere. First, a ceasefire needs to be negotiated so that the violence can stop. Second, all hostages and any remains must be returned as part of that ceasefire. And third, the Israeli government must facilitate the unimpeded flow of vital aid. We also said that we desperately wanted diplomacy to succeed and that those countries with leverage were most likely to achieve the longed-for breakthrough. While some New Zealanders wished we would recognise Palestinian statehood in New York, the government always saw recognition as a distraction or even complication to achieving a ceasefire, the return of hostages and remains, and the unimpeded flow of aid. Our focus has never shifted from that. We continue to consider recognition as a matter of when, not if.
It might have felt a bit like Groundhog Day. This was the third ministerial statement on the issue since June. As in previous statements, opposition parties repeated their call for the government to take stronger action in support of Gazans affected by the war. The statement itself didn't reveal anything particularly profound or new. Party positions on the issue had been well established by now. What stood out more, though, was the opportunity for MPs to question the minister directly, especially since today's exchanges were more adversarial than usual, with pointed lines of attack of their counterparts coming from both the government and the opposition.
And we must call out those members of this House who collude and collaborate with the very protesters targeting politicians' homes. Do they have no shame? Do they feel so morally righteous that you and your supporters are justified to break any law, any taboo, any political norm, and we say shame on you?
For many months, the Prime Minister has been lacking the courage to put his foot down, be a leader, and recognise the other state in this two-state...
Member knows that's not an appropriate statement to make. Point of order, the Honourable Chris Hipkins.
The ministerial statement made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs also contained very inflammatory attacks on other members of the House.
No, it didn't.
The Minister set the tone for the debate in his opening remarks.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that. The ministerial statement was circulated ahead of time. There was no objection to it, and it did not specifically mention any member, as the Honourable Penny Henare just has.
Typically, after a ministerial statement, each party gets the chance to respond, starting with the largest opposition party, either by making a short speech, asking questions, or both. But today there was some confusion about the rules, specifically who was actually entitled to ask a question.
New Zealand's reputation and moral authority has already suffered thanks to this government and must stop. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, my questions to the Minister. Does he agree with the hundreds of thousands of peaceful citizens in this country that the government of New Zealand needs to take more action, like sanctions, in response to the unfolding genocide by the government of Israel against innocent and defenceless Palestine civilians?
The question, there's no question on a ministerial debate if that... Sorry? No, there's not.
Standing Order 365 1 says, following a ministerial statement, the leader of each party, which of course is able to be delegated to other members, or authorised leader may comment on the ministerial statement, ask questions of the minister who made the ministerial statement to elucidate more information about that.
That's right. No question about that, but someone hasn't done that. You asked me if there's no motion. If the member's got another 1.2 minutes, a minute and 12 seconds to go and he's got a question, he can ask it.
Yeah. Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Speaker.
I'm sorry.
I'll ask my question again.
Ask your question again, sorry.
Please, to the Minister.
Once that confusion was sorted out, there was an exchange between Henare and the Foreign Minister. After that, the Greens made a statement of their reaction, as did ACT and Te Pāti Māori. Just like in the last two ministerial statements on this topic, National chose not to take a call. I te whakarongo koe ki te whare. You've been listening to The House, a program made with funding from Parliament's Office of the Clerk. Mātua.